Meghan Get a Bag Trainor. Let's talk about her. It's giving Dove commercial. It's giving Pantene. Kind of sounds like a song for a prescription commercial. You know, where you're like, they're running outside and playing. And if you take this medicine, you might die in 3 to 5 days. Hey guys, it's your girl Cameron, and I'm back at it again with another video. And today we are going to be talking about the phenomenon that is retail music. I think most major artists have that one hit that's a retail smash success. You turn on an Old Navy commercial, that song is playing. Forever 21, the song is playing. Macy's, let's talk about that Macy's check. The song is playing. But what happens when your music is classified by audiences as solely retail music? Your song doesn't have replay value in people's everyday playlist, but Old Navy's always going to call you up and hand you a check because that music is giving retail. And I've been seeing more audiences discuss this retail music phenomenon and classifying certain artists as their music only being good or palatable for commercials. I feel like this creates a curse of an artist not being taken seriously, right, in the context of their artistry, their music. Is this the worst case scenario? I mean, artists are always looking to be paid. And we'll get into the pros and cons of this, if it's even the gotcha that social media likes to use often. I used to work in retail, so I know the annoyance and grievances with retail music all too well. But how do artists get pigeonholed here? Why is it considered a diss? Is it a diss? And should it be less stigmatized? Like, comment down below, what do you guys think of the retail music artist, retail music in general, and hit that subscribe button down below to see more commentary content like this. Guys, we are so close to 50,000 subscribers. I appreciate every one of you who have subscribed and continue to watch me thus far. Also, click the link to my Patreon. I do music reviews. I have an album audit series exclusively on Patreon for my diehard music lovers. So check that out. And enough of plugging myself. Let's just get straight into the video. Let's go. So in order to dive into this topic, I want to talk about what is classified as retail music. What is the idea and the purpose of having it in stores, commercials, and where do artists come into play? A little background. As someone who has worked multiple retail jobs, thank you very much, builds character, there were songs that would grind your gears because you knew, shit, this is coming out, this is going to be played nonstop. My first job was actually, let me not say that, that's a security question, but my first job, I worked at like a teen young adult clothing store, so it was always playing like quote trendy music, but the catchiness, the upbeat nature, and the redundancy, right, those same 20 songs on a loop. Don't let yourself have an 8-hour shift because your ears are going to be bleeding by the end of it. It's torture. And the running joke about praying for retail workers, when XYZ just came out with a new song, I'm praying for you, I've seen that countless times. Like, the struggle is all too real. And don't even get me started on Christmas and holiday season, because the way that they pull out that Christmas playlist in early November is disgusting. And there was actually a study done that playing Christmas music too early can harm mental health. So next time your local retail worker is irritable, especially during Christmas season, give us a break. The point is, though, is that music and retail go hand in hand. And I wanted to dive into what is the psychology behind music and shopping, and it creates this irritability with users and shoppers, while it also works, right? There's psychology being done here. So how do music curators decide what should be played in retail stores? A brand aims to choose music that identifies with the brand. For example, Target spokesperson says that they use playlists with music that is, quote, upbeat, positive, and has a playful personality. But does this drive customers to shop? I personally always describe retail playlists as seemingly obnoxious and mind-numbing, right? You're playing these catchy tunes. And if a catchy tune is drowning out your thoughts, you begin to subconsciously, very consciously, right? These two things exist. Pay less attention maybe to the prices, or you're moving through the store faster, filling your cart up, thinking less and buying more, right? The music kind of adds as like a buffer. So I decided to do a bit more research on this theory, and if there is any truth to my suspicions about them purposely playing like these catchy, mind-numbing songs. Danny Turner, who is Mood Media's and Mood Media. Let me just parentheses real quick. Mood Media is the world's largest licensed music provider, and it's utilized by retailers, large retailers and small ones alike. And Danny Turner, who is their global SVP of creative programming, speaks upon how they curate playlists for different brands. And he outlines a list of do's and don'ts when they evaluate songs that they want to use in stores, or even what brands like to use in commercials. He said, one, they look for songs that are mid-tempo, slightly upbeat, and pop in nature. This is a general consensus. We're talking about Hot Topic. We're not putting bubblegum pop on the speakers. Two, bright and clear instrumentation, right? Not very experimental, more so run-of-the-mill, cookie cutter, palatable. Boom. Three, avoid minor keys, anything that's going to be a bit off-putting to the ear. We know that a lot of artists can get very creative when they're doing something a little bit off-key, edgy. It doesn't always agree with the ear, but it can be extremely appealing and beautiful from an artistic standpoint. And four, he said, no bizarre instrumentation, irritating or repetitive structure. That last one, hopefully they're trying to change the tide, but I call bullshit on the irritating or repetitive structure. In regards to that, we don't want to send the associates screaming in the aisles. Well, as mentioned before, they don't do a great job of that. So if Danny Turner, anybody who works at Mood Media, actually go into a store and sit with people during their shift to see what the bull you got to deal with. And when we get to the overall idea, right, we all say,
we hate retail music. Music in stores are so annoying.
But studies have shown that generally people do enjoy listening to music when they shop. Surveys that outline roughly 83% of American shoppers say they like in-store music, especially younger consumers. And they also tend to stay in a store longer. And I do agree with that wholeheartedly. If I walk in a store and they're playing some of my favorite songs or playing something catchy,
I'm in that hoe.
And it can encourage them to spend more time browsing and leading to buy more. Music can even manipulate emotion. In a U.S. supermarket experiment conducted in 1982, Milliman found that, quote, okay, now we're talking about tempo. When fast-paced music was played, shoppers walked more quickly through the shop. This gave them less time to make impulsive purchases and to absorb the range of items for sale on the shelves. So if we look at a store like a Bath and Body Works, or we look at stores where it's more like a bargain, maybe they want to be more upbeat, because you want people to just grab as much as they can and go. You want it in and out, right? Business models are different. And then conversely, they found that slow tempo music had the opposite effect. It slowed customers down as they shopped and people purchased more during their visit, right? Maybe at like a furniture store or something a little more even keeled. You want people to take their time. There's definitely a psychology behind this. And that's what I really want to outline here. And as a result of that study, the supermarkets tested earned significant higher daily profit based off of that music that they were playing. All of this varies dependent upon the type of store, boom, the products being sold, boom, the demographic, etc. But for sure, the music played in retail stores matter because it can translate to more money, getting into the artists themselves. And I really want to make that connection. What are qualities that make up how we classify retail music and why some artists get slapped with this label? So doing some research, I went on Reddit threads, I asked around, and a couple things came up consistently. What makes a song annoying? Qualities that a lot of generic retail music possess. 1. Repeated lines, usually simplistic lyrics. 2. Forcefully rhymed lyrics that don't make sense. 3. Songs that are overplayed, right? It's this natural cause and effect. It's almost too catchy. It's like annoyingly catchy. 4. A generic beat. 5. Simple/predictable melodies. 6. Cliche lyrics. I think this is a very huge one. I think this component right here almost single-handedly makes up what you would classify as a retail artist or retail music. 7, excessive use of autotune and effects kind of doctors up the song a bit. And some of these artists that we are about to discuss unfortunately have become plagued by some of these qualities consistently in their music. Or they might make other music, but whenever their music is propped up or presented on the world stage or given attention, it's either overplayed in commercials, it's a commercialized song, it's not one of their deep cuts where they're really artistically in their bag. So let's talk about some artists considered commercial artists or good for retail on a mainstream. Some of these people more than others, but some people I'm going to list are kind of like leaning into that territory. Probably one of the top on my list is Saweetie. We're going to deep dive real quick into her later, so Hold that thought. Saweetie's absolutely considered like this marketable retail artist. Number 2 might be the top of the list, Meghan Trainor. Notoriously. Lizzo, I think Lizzo is as well. Not to say she doesn't have some good sound, artistically strong music. I think she's a very talented musician. The pattern of her songs tends to follow that like retail trope. They eat that shit up. Jason Derulo. That man is a walking commercial. Fifth Harmony when they were together. I'm sorry, boss. Michelle Obama. Like, I loved me some Fifth Harmony. Don't. It's not even a diss. Actually, the people on this list, it's not even a diss. Like, let's. But yeah, this is kind of controversial. You guys know that I do like Lotto, but I think Lotto even teeters on this line, right? With her breakout hits, I would say that are like a household song. Most people have heard it. Would be Big Energy. Lottery even followed that trend. I like the songs, but I would say the general public would maybe know her more so for that. I even said Ice Spice. I predict that in a couple years for her. Again, I know y'all think I'm an Ice hater. Don't love her music, don't think that she's talented like that. But she does have commercial appeal, and I think maybe her music will live in that space. I think she'll become more of a marketable figure, maybe like a Saweetie. But that's nor here nor there. Little Mix. Some controversial takes. I said even like a BB Rexa. I think she's a great songwriter, but you know, her solo songs don't seem to hit for herself a lot of the times. And if they do, they're kind of generic. And I love me some Alessia Cara. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like some of hers musically, like it's giving Dove commercial. It's giving Pantene. It's like clockwork. So let's talk about a couple songs. This is where I also want you guys to participate. What are some retail songs that you either overhear or they overplay? Or what are some songs like when you're shopping or you hear a commercial, overplayed? Here's a couple of mine. Let's talk about it. Scars to Your Beautiful, Alessia Cara. I'm sorry, girl, you got to catch the stray. Kind of sounds like a song for a prescription commercial. You know, where you're like, they're running outside and playing. And if you take this medicine, you might die in 3 to 5 days, and you might have diarrhea, and you might have a stomach ulcer, and you might have to get your stomach pumped. But just live your life, and you're going to feel better for you if you take stevia. Like, whatever. The Shape of You, Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran has some sound songs. That's why I did not include him in the overall list. But Shape of You, oh my God. Tell Me You Love Me, Demi Lovato. This is the notorious retail song, Middle. Maren Morris and I think Zed. Oh my gosh. Big Energy, Lotto. Rockabye by Clean Bandit. Dynamite by BTS. Oh my freaking goodness. Closer by the Chainsmokers. All About That Bass by Meghan Trainor. Boss, Fifth Harmony. I mentioned some of these. Nani, Saweetie, a lot of Saweetie songs, and we'll get into that. Comment more below because there are a lot more. My brain just, I didn't want to go to that space. And that's where the stigma comes in. Right? Like the disdain that I have for listing some of these songs. I don't even dislike some of these artists, but retail absolutely has the effect on people. Songs become hateable because of it. And if people stay around to catch on long enough, they'll begin to categorize this artist in this way. One that comes to mind is Meghan Get a Bag Trainor. Let's talk about her. Meghan Trainor, the retailer's dream. Let me make this very clear. I actually like some of Meghan Trainor's music. I know she gets on a bit, but I think it's kind of cute, doo-woppy, but she's had some bops. So like, let's put some respect on her name. But with her breakout hit, All About That Bass, it not only created a catchy tune, but it was celebrating different bodies, and I think it really fit perfectly in the context of retail. Especially at that time, a lot of retails were trending into more of a body positivity space, and Meghan Trainor was kind of like that. This song came at the perfect time, especially lyrically. And her other hit songs would follow the same formula. Punchy, catchy, lyrically simple, and a bit gimmicky, a little bit cliche. And it just to prove my point, I'm just going to list a couple of songs from Meghan Trainor that are undoubtedly retail songs, but are very catchy and similar in nature. Me Too. No. I actually kind of like that No song. Better When I'm Dancing, Lips Are Moving, Mother, which was pretty recent, Been Like This, Woman Up. And honestly, if you just look at a list of Meghan Trainor's like most popular songs or her catalog, just look at the titles. Made You Look, Mom, Just a Friend to You, Wrap Me Up, Just Got Paid, While You're Young, I'm a Dog Mom. Like, is that real? Like, see, she was specifically, you can't convince me that she wasn't making that song to get a dog sponsorship. So, unfortunately, but fortunately, I was correct. This was made for an ad campaign. Further proving my point. I feel you, girl, because you be trying to, you gotta get that money, but nice to meet you, treat myself, Mr. Right, genetics, like, credit, I'm a lady. All of these are so punchy. And you can already kind of hear what they sound like without hearing the song. And ironically enough, based off research, before she got big doing music and songwriting, she actually worked in retail at her family's jewelry store. I thought that was kind of ironically funny, but that's nor here nor there, just a little fun fact. Like, she is the quintessential example of the retail artist that unfortunately drives people a bit crazy. And anytime this lady drops a song now, someone's like, oh boy, I'm praying for retail workers. Like, buckle up. Like, it's an ongoing joke. Meghan Trainor is the retail ongoing joke. Period. And now, I think this is important because this person is in a bit of a different lane. The case of Saweetie. Let's talk about it. Saweetie recently came out with that Nani song, which I think that song probably got the most attention and play for her than a song has in a while. And someone actually tweeted to her when the song came out, this song could be in a commercial for Old Navy or Forever 21. And she said bet. She tweeted them back and she was like, somebody make this edit. And somebody did. Like, they edited Nani, the music video, and they put like, come to Forever 21, da 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 da. And she ended up actually tagging Forever 21 like, okay, I'm trying to get this bag. This is one thing I do always will respect about Saweetie is she's able to take a seemingly like unpositive thing, roll with the punches, and make it her thing. With the case of Saweetie, if you ever like kind of followed her career trajectory, no one knew that she was going to be like this commercial like genius, right? Her music's not great, but she would brand herself initially as like this icy girl persona, a little bit more with an edge, right? She used to have a harder edge with songs like Icy, but slowly but surely she became more brandable, not just in her image, but musically. And she created a quote, softer music persona. You can argue that this wasn't good for her music career, but it certainly evolved her sound and style, and I think opened the doors for her when it came to branding. With an artist like Saweetie, I think her music always kind of sounds, even though it's generic, it's reminiscent. Other styles, other songs, she uses a lot of samples. So she's taking these sampled songs and modernizing it. And I usually attribute that like generic enough but relatability, nostalgic feeling is perfect for like retail music, commercials, playing in the store. And this is what I think works in her favor with songs like Nani and Best Friend, My Type, Tap In, Back to the Streets, Closer, Birthday, which was a dud, but that was a clear attempt of her trying to do something commercial. Slow Clap with Gwen Stefani. Slap, 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 clap, clap, clap. The most play and that I feel like a lot of them got, except for maybe like My Type and Tap In. Maybe Best Friend was in more of a commercial setting. To me, Saweetie, I think, is one of those people you can't shame her for shit. Like, I think she's a really good sport. Don't like her music like that. Don't think like she's that talented of an artist. But she's a great marketer. I know she got her degree at USC. I believe in marketing and communications, which I think is why she remains relevant. And yet again, here's another example. With Saweetie's release Closer featuring her, people were clowning her for it sounding like Forever 21 music, and she goes ahead and makes this TikTok, further facilitating a potential relationship with Forever 21. Whether anyone likes it or not, she's found her lane. Like, she's always landing brand deals, always has a bag. Like when she did that McDonald's meal, like I think she did a Levi or a True Religion. Like, she's always marketing something. Again, that commercialized, palatable, borderline annoying music, she's getting paid. Like, whichever way you want to slice it or dice it, the girl is making money, and she probably will continue to because she has that business side on lock. And that's why I wanted to say, and kind of rounding this up, is being a retail artist bad? As a musician, I think you end up finding that there's a multitude of ways to be successful. I think a lot of people dream of when they're like, I want to be a singer. You probably want to hear your songs on the radio. That's like the cookie cutter way of looking at it. But some artists become lucrative recording jingles for commercials. You might not even know the person. That's not like somebody who's playing on the radio. Some of these people go on to be huge pop stars, right? Songs adoring in clubs and becoming smash hits and winning Grammys. Others make a living off of singing children's tunes. And some get famous for their songs being good for commercial. Maybe they are commercialized, like popular artists. They have their run and their go, but you can't always sustain a career. So you find, hey, it's easy for me to license my music for commercials, or I find more success in these spaces and I get more money. And from a career standpoint, y'all got to remember these are people's livelihoods. You have to get it how you live. So some of these artists that we do joke about and tease are feeding themselves and their families and creating generational wealth off of making commercial and retail music. I don't have to like it. Actually, if anybody should be pissed off about it, it's me. Because I've worked in retail and I know the pain. But I can't really be upset with people for kind of getting it how they live. It could be a bit annoying, however, being pigeonholed because people have bad experiences and annoying experiences with your music. Like, it can taint people. But I also have like this empathy for people just doing what they need to do. Some of these people don't even genuinely make bad music. And to kind of leave this with like a metaphor or like a comparison, we think about like artistic fields, for example. Think about modeling. People think of high fashion models as the most prestigious end all be all. And then you have a QVC model. Somebody say, oh, I'm a QVC model. You might not look at them like artistically seriously, but they're rolling in checks. Or you look at actresses. Look at like actresses who are performing at a high level in A-list movies. And then you have soap opera actors. Soap opera actors are not highly revered, right? Artistically, not highly revered, but they are rolling in checks. Some of these soap operas like Bold and the Beautiful, shout out to you, Mom. Some of those people have been acting since like the 80s on the same show. Consistent check for 40, 30 something years. You see what I'm saying? So we can all look at like what's the pinnacle of artistic excellence, but when we actually talk about having to make money and what's lucrative for people, we kind of have to start, there's levels to this, especially in artistic fields that I think a lot of people are a bit ignorant to. So what do you guys think of the retail music phenomenon? I hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more commentary content just like this video, and check out my Patreon. I'm telling you, check it out. 7-day free trial for my highest tier. And thank you so much for watching. We're gonna make it to 50K, so thank you to all of you guys for supporting me. I truly, truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I will see you guys in my next one.